Welcome to Firehouse No.VI. I'm your host, David Molloy, Director of Public Safety for the City of Novi, and I'm honored to be joined here today by our training officer with the Novi Fire Department, Phil Desminski. Phil, welcome to Firehouse No.VI.
Thank you, sir.
Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background with the organization, some of your educational background, and what's brought you here to become our training officer with the Novi Fire Department?
Well, I started back with the Novi Fire Department back in 1997. Prior to that, I worked for a few other fire departments, E-Course, City of Dearborn Heights is paid on call and part-time positions, basically. Worked my way up, got hired by Novi in 1997, and have been continually progressing myself on the department. In 2004, I joined the Western Wayne County Hazardous Materials Response Team, and then since then I've been continuing to take additional classes, instructor certifications of all sorts, and last March, I was promoted to the training officer for the fire department.
That's a huge background and a great feat. And in addition to a lot of your specialized training, you also had to go through some instructor development courses?
Yes, there's plenty of development courses. I just completed the EMS instructor coordinator course, which was 18 weeks, pretty much every Saturday for 18 weeks. As well as which got me to a fire instructor 1 certification for the state of Michigan as well.
That's great. And I know you continue to not only train our men and women in the Novi Fire Department, but from other departments, but also do you do a lot of prevention and health education CPR classes for the community?
Yes, the fire department, as well as myself, incorporate a lot of CPR classes throughout the community. The first Wednesday of every month, we offer a citizen CPR class at Fire Station No. 4, basically from 6:30 till 10 o'clock at night. Then we offer a tremendous amount of other CPR classes to Novi employees as well.
Okay. And I know recently, in the past few months here in 2012, we've been training a lot of personnel from the Novi Community School District.
Yes, definitely, as well as our Parks and Rec for all the children who are going to the Lakeshore Camp and all the things of that nature. We've been training all their employees as well.
Outstanding. Talk to us a little bit about some of the specialized training some of our men and women go through in terms of the hazardous materials, but we have urban search and rescue personnel who are assigned to these mutual aid groups. Can you give the viewing audience a little bit of a historical perspective on that and what that training entails?
Yes, the fire department has so many different functions that we perform. We have to perfect those skills every year. So every year we're required by our SOPs to partake in specialized training such as vehicle extrication, hazardous materials refresher. So all of our department members are hazardous materials operations level employees. However, they have to refresh those skills on a yearly basis, as well as we perform confined space rescue, and we do a lot of the standbys for our water department, as well as any other rescue efforts that we may have to take. So that's something else per MIOSHA. We have to refresh those skills on a yearly basis. And then we have such things as water rescue, ice rescue. So with the lakes and things of that nature in the city, we have to continually refresh those skills and make sure we're not only performing those specialized duties, but the essential job functions as well, such as fire response operations, fire ground operations, and there's a whole host of other trainings that the department members have to go through on a yearly basis.
Now you host trainings several times throughout the month for the firefighters, not only our full-time firefighters, but also for our paid-on-call and our part-time. Can you explain how we schedule those to accommodate all the schedules that we have?
Yes, since we have multiple different types of schedules going through the department, I have basically 2 different training sessions that go per month. We have our first session is generally in EMS in nature. Since the state of Michigan, we're required to continually keep up on all of our EMS continuing education credits. Every 3 years, all the department members have to accrue at least 30 hours of continuing education in specialized areas. So our first training of the month is normally 2 hours of EMS education. That training's put on four additional trainings, and then the second session of the month is normally our fire ground operations or one of our specialized rescues or something pertaining to the fire industry.
And we are continually working on pump operator training, total operating on the fire ground with all the components that are involved in that.
Yes, the fire or the training that we do is just one component. The duty officers, the duty captains are continually doing shift briefings every day where they incorporate training for all the men and women of the department, as well as some of our older the more senior members of the department are doing a lot of driver's training and other pump training for all the new recruits that we have coming through. So not just the 2 monthly sessions we do, we have training going pretty much almost every day of the week.
Yeah, I think that's been a very impressive and very proud of the way that you've implemented a philosophy that a lot of public service and public safety, every day is a training day. You have to be committed to that lifelong learning. You have to be committed to making sure that we're improving our skills every day. So it's not just one person's responsibility, it's all of our responsibilities to make sure that we're staying up on not only the new laws, the new legislation, but also the new techniques, because CPR, that's a ever-evolving debate on compressions, breaths, things like that. So it's important for all of our men and women to stay sharp on that, and you do a great job keeping all that up to date.
Thank you, sir.
It's
one of those skills that the fire department practices on an annual basis. American Heart requires it, and then every 5 years the American Heart goes through, does a lot of research, and they take their scientific studies and they improve and update the requirements for their training, and they do a great job with improving it, making sure it's functional and efficient.
That's great. And I know you're also working on a new initiative. We're taking advantage of some SAFER grant funds through the federal government, and we're going to be not only training our men and women, but hopefully hosting some other agencies with the rental of a flashover trailer. Can you tell the viewing audience really what that's going to entail?
Yes, it's pretty excited about it. In July, we're going to be hosting Oakland Community College. They have a flashover trailer, which is more than just a dumpster filled with fire. It's probably the best learning laboratory for the firefighters, especially people who might not see fire on a daily basis. It basically simulates in a realistic environment using Class A combustibles, which is our ordinary combustibles, wood, and simulates the environment that they're going to see, so they can see the stages of the fire progressing. And we're going to be hosting that in July and offering several dates. And with those lectures, we're going to be opening that up to local departments as well who might not have that capability.
And you operate out of what station?
Fire Station number 4 at 10 Mile and Wixom. That's our training center. We have our training tower and my office as well out there.
Outstanding. We have a lot of additional information to offer the viewing audience, but we're going to take a quick break. So you, the viewing audience, stay tuned and continue to watch Firehouse No. 6. Take a quick.
Additional resources I do mutual aid from the city of Novi at this time.
Well, not everyone can be a firefighter. There's a proud few.
It's definitely a job that there's times your adrenaline rushes.
There's plenty to learn, lots of things to do, and it's great fun doing it.
Welcome back to Firehouse No. 6. We are continuing to be joined by our training officer with the Novi Fire Department, Phil Desminski. Phil, what I'd like to talk about is some of the specialized response teams that we have. And I know you're a member of the Western Wayne Hazardous Materials. Can you tell us a little bit about what that entails, some of the training, and how it is that that group is set up and how they get activated?
Sure. The Western Wayne County Hazmat team was formed back in 1987. It's basically a conglomeration of 23 local departments based out of Western Wayne County with the inclusion of Novi and Farmington Hills as well, kind of being to the western and northern borders. However, the department has initiated the Western Wayne County Mutual Aid, our Fire Department Mutual Aid Association, has been instrumental in creating an efficient, effective means for providing hazmat response to the local communities. Because what normally used to happen in the past, a lot of departments would have to rely on purchasing all this specialized equipment for a limited amount of calls. So now what we have the availability to do is purchase all this equipment for 23 communities to share all this equipment and share personnel to cross-train them and provide this response to the local communities, like I said.
And this is something that certainly is on the radar for a lot of local communities. It's certainly a mandate that the governor's office and the legislature has said is we need local communities to share services more, and we've already been doing it for a couple decades with the hazardous materials team. So it's really a lot of foresight, a lot of vision that the fire service had in getting these groups together, and so we don't have to have all this stuff, because much like this in urban search and rescue, this isn't something we encounter every day. We don't encounter these situations, but what we found out is when we do have an incident, and it does need to be mitigated, we have these resources at our fingertips.
Exactly. The equipment alone for the Hazmat and USAR teams is millions of dollars worth of equipment. So for one municipality to try to purchase all that equipment would be inefficient and not very cost effective. So the sharing of those resources and sharing of personnel as well. The specialized training that all the members have to go through. On the Hazmat side, there's most all fire department members in local communities are at least hazardous materials operations level employees, which means when they get on scene, they can stabilize the situation, decontaminate any contaminated patients, and then create the zones and begin the operation. From there, the hazardous materials team would come in, identify the product or substance that's leaking, do some air monitoring around the local areas. One of the good examples was the EQ plant explosion in Romulus a couple years ago, where Romulus Fire Department came in, kind of stabilized the area. Then the hazardous materials response team came in, as well as the EPA, monitored the area, made sure everything was safe for the local community.
Yeah, and you've been a member of that team for how long?
For 8 years now, since 2004.
And what type of training did you have to go through to get that?
Initially, I was sent to Oakland Community College. They had a hazmat technician class, which is 2 40-hour work weeks. It's an 80-hour class. As time goes on, they're continuing to create more training that's involved with it. I've gone to several other classes that are involved, and there's literally hundreds of other classes out there to specialize in different areas of hazmat. I've gone through hazardous materials chemistry 1 and 2 at the Michigan State Police Post, radiological response, tons of WMD, meth lab classes, and things of that nature.
Okay, very good. And in addition to the basic training, you all get together at least once a month?
Once a month for 6 hours per training. So these are the skills that it's so important. In the fire department, that's one of the other good things about the sharing of resources. There's so much specialized training that goes into this. For one department to implement all their employees to be trained as hazmat technicians and USAR technicians would be not cost effective. You'd have hundreds of hours of training that would be required. So this allows us to share those efficiencies once again.
And they also utilize our training facilities at Station 4.
Yes, we have Western Wayne County hazmat teams out at our facility a couple times a year, 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Good. And let's switch gears a little bit to talk about another mutual aid group that we're a part of, and we have members who respond in terms of the USAR, or the Urban Search and Rescue Team.
Yes, the Urban Search and Rescue Team was created a few years ago, once again through the Western Wayne County Fire Department Mutual Aid Association. We have 2 department members who are part of that team, and once again it's a couple hundred hours worth of training that those personnel must go through just to get on the team. And then that's resources, once again, that we're able to bring into our community should we have a trench collapse. We have confined space rescue that comes into a technical level. We have all these capabilities right at our fingertips by being a part of these mutual aid agreements.
And do you recall the last time they were deployed, or when we've utilized them? I know that we had the major furniture explosion in
yes,
Wayne.
In Wayne, that was probably the last one. The hazardous materials response team responded along with them. The hazmat team goes out for a lot of air monitoring and things of that nature. And I believe that was one of their last responses.
Okay. But again, much like the USAR team is just like the hazmat team.
Exactly.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours, and really, and these individuals are on call, and they could be responding in the middle of the night, whether they're on a shift or they're responding from their home.
Yes, that's one of the good things about the mutual aid agreement, is it allows anybody who's on duty to respond to these calls, so you know people are going to be coming. It's not just people that are on call. They're required to go to these any call-outs that they receive.
And you mentioned earlier on the equipment. There's an endless amount of apparatus and trailers that we have. How do they determine where those are stored, and what type of apparatus do they actually have at Western Wayne in terms of the hazmat?
Yes, with the Western Wayne Hazmat, we currently have 2 trucks that carry the majority of our equipment. One is housed in Livonia. The second one's housed at 6 Mile in Northville Township. Then we have 2 trailers which are stationed at Metro Airport, which is the 11th busiest airport in the nation. And there's millions of, I believe, like 40 million people that go through the airport every single year. So we have all these capabilities surrounding us. Dearborn Heights has another trailer for us. And then all of our decon equipment, our portable decon trailers, are all housed here in Novi as well.
Okay. And that's one thing that you guys actually practice as well, is you set up these decontamination tents, and you're able to decontaminate hundreds of people an hour, correct?
Yes, we've come down to almost 1,000 people an hour with our mass decontents. Every year, one of our events that we've been partaking in is Wayne County hosts Mud Day in Hines Drive, where they throw all the kids in the mud and get them dirty to send home with their parents. And we brought all of our decontents, so they don't have to send all the kids home dirty. We get to practice our skills with doing mass decon, probably more decon than you would ever imagine would be at any event. But it's kind of fun for the kids and good for the parents to get clean kids to take home.
It's a great day for the kids, but also that's a great idea because it's a good way to keep the firefighters fresh in their skills. And I know you're committed to, you're a lifelong learner, you're committed to training, and I truly appreciate everything you've done in the last year. You're also in our Staff and Command program at Eastern Michigan University as a staff officer, and I appreciate your leadership in the fire department. You've really taken our training to every single person it seems like that we've had in training. You all take it to a different level because you all have that passion and that dedication to making it better and really leaving it better than you found it. So I appreciate that all you do every single day.
Thank you, sir. I couldn't have done it without the help of all the other people I work with, the shift captains, and a lot of the mentors that assist along the way as well.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks for joining us here today on Firehouse No.VI. And thank you to the viewing audience for tuning in to learn about a lot of the specialized programs and a lot of the specialized units that you may not see every day, but they're there to keep you and your family and our greater Novi community safe on a daily basis. I appreciate you tuning in to Firehouse No.VI and continue to watch Novi television.